Hello everyone. Good morning. Welcome to ISC Geography Class 11. Today we will continue Chapter 5 Landforms of the Earth. Today is day 2. We will study from page number 87 to page number 92. In the last class, that is on day 1, we have studied about endogenetic forces, classification of endogenetic forces, folding and types of folds, faulting and types of faults. Today, we will study the following objectives. We will study landform associated with endogenous process, that is mountains, classification of mountains, fold mountains and plate tectonic theory, block mountains, volcanic mountains, residual or dissected mountains, and at last we'll discuss mountains and men. I will start the class with some PK testing, that is previous knowledge testing questions. Hope that you will be knowing all the answers. Question number 1. Name a few mountains of the world. Question number 2. Which is the highest mountain range in the world? Question number 3. Which is the longest mountain range in the world? Question number 4. How were the Himalayas formed? Question number 5. Name some volcanic mountains. Question number 6. What type of mountains are the Aravallis? And the last question is, how are mountains important to us? Children, let us go through some technical terms that are related to today's topic. The first term is mountain. A mountain is a landform that rises high above the surrounding area. They have a height of about 900 meters or more. The examples of mountain are Himalayas, Rockies, Andes, etc. Fold mountains. Fold mountains are created when two or more of the Earth's tectonic plates are pushed together towards each other. The example of fold mountains are Himalayas, Rockies, Andes, Alps, etc. Geosynclines. A long trough or depression in the surface of the earth where sediments are deposited or collected, thought of in the late 19th century and early 20th century as the origin of most mountains. Young fold mountains. The mountains formed recently due to compressional forces. Example, Himalayas, Alps, Rockies, etc. Old fold mountains. The mountains formed during an earlier mountain building period due to compressional forces. The examples are Ural Mountain, Appalachians, Tian Shan, etc. Asthenosphere. The molten upper portion of the mantle is termed as asthenosphere, or we can say it is an area inside the earth where we have magma. Plate tectonic theory. The theory of plate tectonics states that the earth's solid outer crust, that is the lithosphere, is separated into plates and move over the asthenosphere, that is they move over the molten upper portion of the mantle. Block mountains or host. A mountain formed by the uplift of blocks of the earth crust due to faults created by tensional forces acting on the earth's surface. The examples of block mountains or host are Vosges in France and Black Forest Mountain of Germany. Rift Valley or Graben. A valley formed by the sinking of blocks of the earth crust due to faults or fractures created by tensional forces acting on the earth's surface. The best example of Rift Valley is the Great Rift Valley of Africa. Next term is volcanic mountains. Volcanic mountains are formed when molten rock, that is magma, deep within the earth erupts and piles upon the earth's surface. Example of volcanic mountains are Mount Kilimanjaro, Mount Vesuvius, etc. Residual or dissected mountains. Mountains that have been eroded by the agents of degradation such as winds, rain, frost and running water, that is river, leaving behind only the hard rocks are known as residual mountains. Example, Aravalli Mountain of India. Now, let us discuss the landforms associated with endogenous processes. Endogenous processes have given birth to a large variety of landforms on the surface of the earth. The landforms found on the earth's surface are divided into three orders. The first order landforms are the continents and oceans. The second order landforms are mountains, plateaus and plains. The third order landforms include mountain sections, hills, valleys and deltas. We'll study the second order landforms in this chapter. The major landforms of second order are mountains, plateaus and plains, which cover about 26%, 33% and 41% of the total surface area of the earth respectively. Now first of all, let us discuss about the mountains. An uplift part of the earth which stands relatively higher than the surrounding areas is called a mountain. According to Professor Finch, a mountain is that land block whose height is at least 900 meters above the sea level and its slope makes an angle of 25 degree to 35 degree with the horizontal plane. Broad base, extreme height and narrow peak are some of the important characteristics of a mountain. Lower mountains are called hills. In India, when the summit of the top of raised land is more than 900 meters above the base, it is called a mountain. Those with less than this elevation are called hills. Now children, let us discuss the classification of mountains. Several types of mountains are found on the surface of the earth. No two mountains are identical or same. Mountains differ from one another in respect of their age, height, location, process of formation, shape and structure. On the basis of their origin or mode of formation, following types of mountains are normally recognized. Fold mountains. Fold mountains have been formed due to the folding of sedimentary rocks. It is believed that there were narrow, elongated, shallow seas or lake basins in which huge amount of sediments were deposited. Those low-lying, narrow and elongated areas are termed as geosynclines. All great mountains of the world have been formed by the process of folding and are known as fold mountains. The Himalayas of Asia, the Alps of Europe, the Rockies of North America and the Andes of South America are examples of fold mountains. The Himalayas were formed over millions of years on a marine basin known as Tethys Sea. The drifting of peninsular India towards the north caused folding in the sediment laid down at the bottom of the Tethys Sea and the Himalayas were formed. The Himalayan landforms consist of three main ranges running almost parallel to each other roughly in the east-west direction. The three ranges are Himadri, Himachal and Shivaliks. The heights of these ranges increase when we go from south to north. This indicates that folding and uplift took place in three different phases. The third phase is not yet complete and the Himalayas are still rising. It took about 7 million years for the Himalayas to rise to the present heights. The Urals, the Appalachian, the Teen Shan and the Nan Shan were formed during an earlier mountain building period and are known as Old Fold Mountains. The highlands of Scotland and Norway and the Sayan and the Stornoway mountain of Asia are of still earlier period. However, the Aravallis of India are considered to be one of the oldest mountains of the earth. These mountain ranges have been much denuded or eroded for a long time, which has made them much less rugged and lesser elevation as compared to young-fold mountains. The Aravalli range is 800 km from Ahmedabad to Delhi. Near Delhi, it retains its rocky character and is known as Delhi Ridge. Ridge is a chain of mountain. Its highest peak is Guru Shikhar near Mount Abu in the southern part of the Aravalli range. The height of Guru Shikhar is 1722 meters. Now let us study about block mountains. Block mountains were formed due to faults or fractures caused by tensional forces. An intense folding of rocks is generally followed by faulting of strata due to horizontal force of tension. The land between the two parallel faults either rises forming block mountains or host or subsides, that is sinks into a depression and is termed as rift valley or graben. These mountains have flat tops, steep faults and the subsided portions between parallel faults are flat bottomed. The Vosges in France and the Black Forest Mountains in Germany are typical examples of block mountains. The Salt Range of Pakistan is also an example of block mountain. River Rhine in Europe flows through a rift valley. River Indus, River Narmada and Tapi in India flow through a rift valley. The Narmada River flows through a subsided or faulted basin between the Vindhyas and the Satpuras, which are block mountains to its north and south respectively. Damodar River also flows through Rift Valley. The Great Rift Valley of the world runs from East Africa to Syria to the Red Sea. It is 6,400 km long and 610 meter deep and it has a width of 65 to 95 kilometer. Now next we have volcanic mountains. The mountains formed as a result of volcanic activity are known as volcanic mountains. At the time of volcanic eruption, lava was thrown out and deposited around the crater to form a mountain. As these are formed by the accumulation of volcanic material, They are also known as mountains of accumulation. If the lava is thin, that is, lava is basic in composition, it spreads to a longer distance, forming a flatter cone of gentle slope and of low elevation. A lava is basic or thin when it is rich in silica. If the lava is thick and is of acidic composition, it will not travel to a long distance and will be accumulated or collected near the vent and will form small volcanic cones with more height and steep slopes. We can see the two diagrams given above to compare the cone formed by cooling of acid lava and basic lava. Mount Fuji of Japan and Mount Popa in Myanmar are examples of acid composition, whereas Mount Mauna Loa in Hawaii is an example of basic composition of lava. Next we have residual or dissected mountains. They owe their present form due to erosion by different agencies such as river, wind, glaciers, etc. That is why they are known as relict mountains or residual mountains or mountains of circumdenudation. They have been worn down or eroded down from previously existing elevated regions. Hills like the Nilgiris, the Parasnath, the Girnar and the Raj Mahal in India are examples of this type. But Nilgiris got their present height as a result of subsequent uplift due to the movement of plates. Almost all hills of peninsular India are examples of residual mountains. Some authorities treat Aravallis also as relict mountain, but opinions differ on this issue. Now we'll discuss the importance of mountains to man. That is, we will discuss the mountain and man relation. Mountains cover about 26% of the earth's surface but support only 1% of the world's population. This simply speaks about the limitations of mountains to provide habitat to man. Mountains have a great bearing on man's life and his activities, which is clear from the following points. First, we'll discuss how mountains influence the climate. Mountains have a deep impact on the climate of the area. The monsoons bring rain in India due to the obstruction of the Himalayas, whereas Tibet and Gobi remain practically dry. Thus, mountains act as a climatic barrier. There is a gradual fall in temperature as we go high up in the mountains. Example, Shimla and Ludhiana, they are located at the same latitude, but Shimla is cooler than Ludhiana as Shimla is located in high altitude, whereas Ludhiana is located in the plains. In the northern hemisphere, the southern slopes of the mountains are warmer than their counterparts because the southern slopes are facing the sun in the northern hemisphere. This concept we have discussed in the chapter Insulation and Temperature also. Vegetation. A large variety of forest and grass grow on the mountains, which provide rich timber and pastures. They also provide raw material for many forest-based industries such as paper, synthetic fiber, sports goods, furniture, matchbox, lac, plywood, etc. Minerals. Many minerals are found in the rocks of the mountains. Important minerals obtained from the mountains are coal, iron ore, gold, silver, mica, gems, lead, copper, gypsum and mineral oil, that is petroleum. Rivers. All large rivers of the world have their source in the mountains. The perennial rivers originating from the snow-covered mountains are a permanent source of water and they form alluvial plains. The northern plain of India is formed by river Indus, Ganga and Brahmaputra, which rise from the mountains and their tributaries coming from the Himalayas. Hydroelectricity. Many rivers in the world have been harnessed or used to produce hydroelectricity by constructing dams across them. Bhakra Nangal Dam is an important example. The industrial development in North America, Japan, Italy, Norway, Sweden, etc. largely depends upon hydroelectricity. Health and tourism. The climate of mountains is good for health. Many people visit hill stations during the summer season to escape the heat of the plains. Shimla, Nainital, Mussoorie, Srinagar, Darjeeling, etc. are important health and tourist resorts in the Himalayas. The maximum tourist profession is in the hills of Switzerland in Europe. Political boundaries. Mountains form international boundaries between different countries. The Himalayas form India's northern boundary with China. Boundaries of Spain, Thailand, Myanmar, Russia and many more countries are also formed by mountains. Political boundaries based on mountain ranges have become controversial and have lost much of their significance in the modern period. Defense. Mountains have been protecting man from outside invasions. Those defeated by invasions in the past found protection in the mountains, means they used to get refuge in the mountains. India has long been protected by the Himalayas from the outside invasions. But this barrier is not absolutely effective. Passes in the mountains permitted invasions in the past. In modern scientific age, mountains have lost their importance as protective forts. China attacked India in 1962 and at present too is a living example in the Ladakh area. However, these mountains are still important for setting out posts in the remote hilly terrain. Agriculture. Although mountains do not encourage the development of agriculture due to their rugged topography, that is uneven topography, yet man has been able to use hill slopes through terrace cultivation or step cultivation. Beverage crops like tea and coffee can be grown on the hill slopes. Here we can take the example of Assam. Large plantations of tea are set up in the hills of Assam, and now at present Assam is the largest producer of tea in the world. Same we can take the example from Karnataka. Karnataka is the largest producer of coffee in India, and coffee is grown in the terraces of the hills in Karnataka. Horticulture, that is the production of fruits and flowers, is being practiced successfully even on lands not suitable for high value agricultural crops. The valleys between the mountains are being intensively irrigated and cultivated. The handicaps of mountain regions with respect to utilization of natural resources and economic growth are being removed by providing better transport facilities, irrigation, and the development of hydroelectricity in these areas. Children, with this, we complete our today's topic. Hope that you have understood today's topic properly. Let us recapitulate all the objectives we have done till today. On day 1, that is in the last class, we have studied endogenetic forces, classification of endogenetic forces, folding and types of folds, faulting and types of faults. In today's class, that is on day 2, we have studied landforms associated with endogenous process, that is mountain, we have discussed today. Classification of mountain, fold mountains and plate tectonic theory, block mountain, volcanic mountains, residual or dissected mountains, and at last we discuss mountains and men. Now it is a time for you to take the homework. Children, you have to mark the answers of the questions related to today's topic that are given in exercise 2nd and exercise 3rd. You also have to write the answers of a few questions in your fair copy. I will read the questions for you. The first question is, out of geosynclines have come the mountains. Discuss the statement. Question number 2, discuss the plate tectonic theory regarding the formation of mountains. Question number 3, illustrate the formation of fold mountains with the help of a diagram. Question number 4, illustrate the formation of block mountains and rift valleys with the help of a diagram. Next question is, what is a mountain? What are the resources found in the mountains? How are some of their handicaps being removed? And the last question is, how are mountains important to us? You must read the chapter from page number 87 to page number 92. You must see the school YouTube video as suggested to you. We will very soon meet in a new class with a new topic and a new video. Till then, keep exploring, keep learning, be safe and happy. Thank you.